This is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report. And today I want to talk a little bit about customs and border patrol and the ridiculous amount of territory they're claiming, as you can see on the map. All of Michigan there, and yes, all of Florida. And this has been an ongoing problem. It's not something new, but the ACLU with their suit brings light to it. And I wish it would bring that suit down here to Florida. Because as you can see, we're in the same situation as Michigan there. You got Customs and Border Patrol out there. And yesterday, the ACLU went to federal court and they proclaimed that this state is basically a border zone where the Constitution no longer exists. That's what the Border Patrol is trying to state to us within the state of Florida. Many of you may not know this because, and you saw the outlining, the Constitution does not exist. Think about that, folks. You have no constitutional rights. It no longer applies to anyone traveling anywhere within the state. You can be detained. You can be searched at any time. And they can do this without warrant. And normally you think Border Patrol, wait, I see them on the border, right? No, they can go up to 100 miles from the border. And the law is so vague, vaguely worded that it's rife for abuse, as we see constantly. There's a ton of videos out there. Just Google it and you'll see. So Border Patrol Michigan, they're milking it. The semantic argument for all it's worth. Same here in Florida. They're maximizing their power over the people with zero regard to how fascist their actions are. How fascist this federal law is regarding the border zone. It's supposed to allow agents to conduct warrantless searches within a reasonable distance from the U.S. border. And it was for a good reason, to stop illegals, terrorists, weapons, illegal trafficking, all that stuff. But like all the laws, just like the Patriot Act, the government's taking it too far. This unconstitutional law gets abused all the time to detain and terrorize innocent Americans. You'll see videos out there where they're asking Americans, it's obvious they're Americans, and they want them proof that they're Americans, well past the 100-mile. Only 40% of the U.S. and Mexico border is operationally protected. And this agency, the Border Patrol, only stops less than 10% of the legal drugs that enter the country anyway. In Michigan, up there, the agency has now declared itself the statewide Gestapo. And it's not recent. It's recent because ACLU's brought it. But as you saw from that map, it's been that way for a while. Florida's been that way for a while. And you didn't even know it. Where they go out, they interpret the entire state as reasonable distance for a border zone to get out there and detain anyone, anywhere, at any time without warrant or even a reasonable suspicion that you did something wrong. What this effectively means is that every American citizen in Michigan, in Florida, and a few other states is having the rights to unreasonable search and seizure, due process, is enshrined in the Fourth Amendment, the Bill of Rights, ignored blatantly. Like this video, you're seeing this Border Patrol up there giving this guy crap. It's obvious to see, if you watch it, that he's American. There's no accent, no foreign accent, just like me. There's no accent. I'm American. As apple pie. And you see this, and this, a few articles came out where writers talked about where they traveled and they went through all this rigmarole. And that they didn't just ask, are you American? They went all throughout searching their cars, their passports, treating them like they're some kind of terrorist, illegal alien trying to sneak in. In New Mexico, you had a woman. She was 54. She recently won a lawsuit for $1 million because the Border Patrol in El Paso selected her out of a random search that turned into 6 hours. And 6 hours of agony, having her, here you go, her vagina and anus probed by female agents for drugs. They found nothing, not a single damn thing. And they even had the audacity to send her a bill for $5,000 worth of medical services after essentially the government Border Patrol raped this girl. And roving patrols like these Border Patrols that you're seeing up here, they're being sued in Michigan. It's occurred in Washington too, Arizona, Texas. I'm not aware of it happening yet in Florida, but it should, because it's past that blurry 100-mile line. And this agency, they insist that the 100-mile limit doesn't limit them on their duties. They can go beyond that. So in short, this agency doesn't really care what the law or the Constitution states. And the ACLU says, no, they can't do that. And they filed similar lawsuits in Arizona and Washington. And I wish they'd come here and file them in Florida. You know, forget the waves of illegal immigrants that continue to flood our country through our borders. Our soldiers that continue to protect the poppy fields of opium trade out in Afghanistan in the fake war of terror that's going on. The same product that ends up coming here killing so many people. You know, that drug called H or heroin that is at epidemic levels here in Sarasota, Manatee counties. So what's the real point of all this? That's what you got to ask yourself. Are they conditioning us to fear this, you know, are they conditioning us to go and accept these questionings, this enslavement to authority, this mentality that's out there? To these guys that feel they're doing nothing wrong. To Americans that have done nothing wrong but drive down the road. Think about it. This has been Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.